Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining before time or on time. It really feels nice. Sorry, we are starting this thing 4 minutes late due to some unforeseen things, and I'm also trying to record this on YouTube for the first time. Go live on YouTube for the first time, just to see how it works. It's not that we encourage recording on a public medium like YouTube. So thanks a lot to everybody for joining the last Friday session with Joanne and Avin and their beautiful kids. The topic was how to get rid of fridge at home. And without going around it, the session was so good. First of all, it went on for about 2.5 hours, but that's not important. In 1 week, and I will share it in the chat group, the response of people in the chat groups and on what actions they took to get one step more closer to getting rid of a fridge. That's the beauty, right? And that's where we would like to see, not just have a good session and then good sharing. That is also important to get knowledge about it. But we always request people to be in action, right? However, I'll also say one thing, because too much focus on action sometimes makes some people feel that, oh, am I doing less in life? Okay, how come others are not able to do so much? It happens. We are human, isn't it? So there will be no discrimination in our WhatsApp groups about people who are not able to take decisions. All right. That's not what we want to do. Say that, hey, see, we are taking decisions. You are like how kids say, no, slow coach. We are not going to do any of those things. All right. Your life situation is your life situation. Only you know what you're going through, isn't it? So we will be very, very lenient about whether you take decision or not. That's totally up to you. But the sharings that happen in the WhatsApp group has to be razor sharp, because that has an infectious way of telling other people that अरे वो कर सकते हैं तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ, है ना? That is a way to inspire. So that is one thing. Then the second thing is, today I'll let Joanne and Avin explain that more in detail. See, we are introducing this thing called as one-on-one interaction, right? It's a beautiful concept. Like, you attend the session and then you go back to the WhatsApp group and you find that the WhatsApp group is still closed. And in most other WhatsApp groups, you are like, okay, chatting about it, sending information, all that is fine. That initial 20, 30 minutes or even 4 hours of enthusiasm is all fine. But then quickly we get back to what did we do about what we learned in the Zoom session, right? That focus we have to get back. All right. And we also have to respect the speaker's time, isn't it? Because they're also into a different kind of living. They've made so much time for the kids and their family. And suddenly one WhatsApp groups, and that to two WhatsApp groups. And if they have to sift between this and that and what is relevant to the topic, what's not relevant to the topic, it's a lot of work for them, right? So I'm so happy that they've adopted a scheme where if you are stuck with something, right, you can always approach them, right? Is that okay, Joanne and Naveen? Is it the way you want it, or do you want to add or delete something to something I told?
No, that's exactly how we want it. Also, because at times I feel what works for someone may not work for others, and when advice is given, it's sometimes blindly accepted without understanding whether it is related to us or not. So, in especially when we say food as medicine, I think it's more appropriate for it to be one-on-one. And in general life, also, I have even seen in homeschooling, you know it is not a general advice that you take
Excellent.
paracetamol and your fever is gone.
Excellent. Thanks for bringing that perspective. And I too believe in what you are saying, right? So it has to be customized to somebody and it has to be relevant to their life situation. Thanks a lot for being available one on one. That is a very unique thing. And you are sharing your experience on that. The second thing that I want everybody to do today, okay, is during this session, if possible, when Joanne and Avin are speaking, and even during the QA time, if possible, hold this mudra. Okay, this is called Gnana Mudra. It is the king of mudras. It directly calms your mind and it helps you aid in whatever you want to do, right? It's not one thing that, okay, it'll put me to sleep, it'll calm me down. No, if you're trying to be attentive in a class, it'll help you become attentive. When my 76-year-old mother does not get sleep, and if she uses this while she is sleeping, she gets sleep in 10 to 15 minutes, right? So that is the power of this. It has no side effects. You just have to keep the tips together. It is not a must. Okay, you can do it. I will do it. You can do it in one hand or you can do in both hands. Even if it just goes away, bring it back. The benefit is not lost. And doing it like this has very less benefits. Doing like this is the right way to do it. All right. So with this, I hand over the platform to Joanne and Avin. Thanks a lot. Today's topic is to use food as our medicine. Okay, please go ahead. I'll put myself in mute and video.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, and thanks for attending our second session. The last session was very overwhelming for us, the response, and actually feeling good that something that we tried and did in our life is actually benefiting others also. If there are any newcomers in this session, hi, I'm Joanne, and this is my husband, Avin.
Hello.
We have moved to a farm life about 2 years back. We used to live in Bangalore, and we're tired of, the stressful city life and wanted to have a peaceful village life. And we got our dream, we made our dream come true, and here we are today, sharing our another learning in the last 7 to 8 years of how we completely gave up any kind of medicine. I mean, I wouldn't say gave up. I would say completely gave up allopathic medicine because that was what we relied on. But we do not have any doctors, assigned to us. We do not have a pediatrician for our child. We do not have a general practitioner that we consult. We don't have any doctors, numbers stored in our phone for easy access. We try to be our own doctors. Avin, would you want to start our journey?
No, I mean, just want to add one more point. Whatever we discuss here will be mostly based on some of the mistakes that we did, and learned from those mistakes and what worked for us, for our situation. It may work for some of you, it may not work for some of you, but what we majorly want to share is what worked for us.
Yeah, so like every other story, our journey started quite, not with our kids, actually before our kids, when I was pregnant. So while during my pregnancy, you usually have this, you have heard this, right? That please don't drink wine because it's not good for your child. And when you're pregnant, don't eat these certain foods because it's not good for your child. So you know that everything that you eat during your pregnancy affects the child in your womb. So this was the only thing I knew. What to eat, what to not eat, I didn't know then. I started that learning only when I got to know I was pregnant. And sometime in my 3rd month and in my 5th month, I felt sick twice. But I had this thought that if I go to a doctor and get a medicine, I will be affected because of the medicine, and the unborn children in my womb also will be affected. So that started, I think, a search for what can I have that will make me feel better without harming me or my kids. And since then, it's always been that. I think we went away from allopathic about a year after our kids were born. Until that, we still had this so-called first aid box in our house. It had some medicine, some, you know,
Basic
those,
medicines.
those required tablets like paracetamol, Calpol, and Crocin, and I don't know, I don't remember. I remember I had some anti-allergens and few basic medicines that we thought that, okay, when you fall sick, this is what you take. You don't even go to the doctor. You take Calpol if you have fever. You take something else if you have a cold. If you have a headache, you take aspirin, kind of. And in this journey, in this phase, from the time I was pregnant to when the kids were born, we used to fall sick often, and we used to try to make sure that, you know, the dependency on the tablets or the medicines, bought over the counter medicines, was reduced. When I was almost 7 months pregnant, Avin contacted dengue, and that was a very horrible time in our life. So that's when we had to go to a doctor, because he was in horrible pain. There was a temperature. I was in the city. I mean, it was only 2 of us in the city. We didn't know many people there. His colleagues and friends lived far away. I had quit my job by then because I knew I was expecting twins. So I didn't want to take the extra stress. And I was lost. The only thing I knew that, okay, dengue becomes fatal very quick. So I had to get medication. But whenever I called anyone in our family, you know, get papaya juice, leaf juice, and give it to him and he'll feel better. And we used to grow our own stuff back then also. And we had one papaya sapling nearby. So we took some leaves, gave him the papaya juice. And I remember from seeing the body lying in the bed, unable to even tell his needs, the next day after drinking 2 courses of the papaya leaf juice, Avin actually spoke to me and told me I'm feeling better. And he was prescribed, I don't know, 5 or 7 tablets. Out of that, he declined to take the painkillers and took only the antibiotics.
The fever reducing.
Yeah, the fever reducing tablets. And a few days later, I don't know, maybe a week later, he was cured from the fever, though he still had pains in his joints. And that was also a second, strengthening for us. It gave us courage that we overcame something on our own without, getting hospitalized or without feeling that we were helpless. That started the need to understand our body, the need to know more. I would credit most of, the medical aspect of us getting better on our own, or our bodies being able to heal themselves, to Avin, because he was the one who did most of its research. And at times when I lost the courage, especially, I could take the pain, or I could take the suffering which illness brings, but I couldn't see my kids take it. Like every other mother, I would see them in high temperature and ask Avin, should we consider giving the Calpol syrup to them now? His Ethan used to fall sick often, so I used to say that his temperature is very high. I don't want him to have a seizure. And Avin was like, nothing will happen. Have faith. We'll do everything that is required. But in case something goes wrong, we can go to a hospital. We are in a city. You don't have to worry. So he always gave me the courage that in the initial days. Now, 8 years later, I don't know what to say, but I think I'm very happy to say that fear is not there. But also the instances that we fall sick are also so less that there is no chance for that fear to come. How did we do this? Mainly with things from our kitchen. So one thing was understanding what our body is, how it works, and how it can help us. I mean, how we fall sick and how can our body itself help us get better. So for an example, a general fever usually happens because there is an infection in the body. And when an infection happens, the moment your body realizes that there is an infection, which takes a couple of days, at that time you will get very slight symptoms of not keeping well. Either your energy is low, or you're feeling a slight headache, or your body hurts in places. Very light, minor symptoms. And 2 days of ignoring the symptoms is when our infection is already set in and the body is fighting it. That is when the fever comes. The fever is not the sign of infection. The fever is the sign of your body fighting the infection. So when the fever sets in, generally what people do is they take a tablet, a Calpol or any other fever reducing tablet, and they say, I have fever, so let me take this and I'll feel better. That is the first mistake that we do, that we reduce the fever and we deny our body its chance to recover itself. The moment you let the body have its fever, the heat that is generated in the body itself is what cures the infection. So the only way you can, because when you get a fever, your body is hot and you feel uneasy. So the best way to reduce the uneasiness is sponging. So you sponge yourself, take a cool water bath. For kids, I used to just keep a vessel with a cloth handy and just sponge them, keep them in their underclothes and just sponge their head to feet as many times as possible. And they are already too tired to do anything. They are lying down. The rest is very important. Next day morning, you'll see that the fever has, killed the infection. The body is weak because it has fought, but you are feeling better already. This is the general, cycle that a fever goes through, that an infection goes through. If you think of cold, cough, headaches, and any such things, you'll generally see that if you have a sore throat, your first sign is that you have an infection, irritation in your throat. So you might know the general causes, that okay, I might have eaten food from out, or I might not have drunk very clean water. Infection doesn't just come from anywhere. I mean, it can come from anywhere, right? So you don't know the source, but you sometimes have a clue that it could be because of that. So as soon as you feel the irritation, if you gargle salt water, take something, something natural that is also antibiotic, like say turmeric, honey, the leaf, the tulsi leaf. Small things that generally are there either in our garden or in our kitchen are such good healants. Ginger. These are things that will help you reduce a cold and help your body fight these minor infections. The moment you avoid taking care of the infection in the initial stage, that is when it goes to the next stage, and then your body has to fight that. Plus, it has to remove the effects of the medicine that you have taken. So when you put something natural, your body is only fighting the infection and not doing anything else.
So just want to add this thing. One more thing is another thing that we need to do is respect our the signs that our body sends. Usually when you are sick, right, you lose appetite.
Taste.
A taste. So that is a clear indication that your body is trying to tell us that don't give me any more food. But we generally tend to ignore that and tend to even eat so that we get stronger and all that. But that's something that we need to respect what our body is trying to tell us. That you're not feeling hungry because your body is busy trying to deal with some kind of infection. So at that point, what we do is we don't eat any food. So that kind of helps you recover from most kind of infections very quickly. Another point is that, you know, these extreme fever case and all that was, I remember, only being in the very initial stage. These of late we never get such high fevers. I think the highest fever, I think the fever that was very high was only back in six years.
2016,
Yeah, much
15 or
much back.
16. Yeah.
These days, you know, our body, our immunity is so high that our fevers are usually half a day or maximum a day,
Yeah.
not more than that.
Yeah, even kids, I've hardly seen them, in bed because they're sick. They
Yeah.
are sick. They know that they're sick. They say that, "Mommy, my throat is irritating," or I'm feeling ill, and they know what they need to take. They come to the kitchen, they take whatever they need to take. Sometimes we just need to remind them, take the second dose also, so that you feel better. And they continue doing their daily job. They play, they run. If their body is complaining, they lie down and rest. But there is no case of that. I'm not well, so I'm in bed for the next 2 days. So that very rarely, I don't know if even rarely, it hardly happens. It doesn't happen. So when you need to understand that, like Avin said, that your body gives you the signs, and also um, it there are indications in different ways. So you need to be very tuned into your body. You need to be aware what is going on, what is a normal day and what is not. So even before a very bad toothache happens, you know that a cavity is forming because there is something getting stuck or something. Your body has always been giving you these signals. It's only that because we are so unaware of our body, or maybe in our case, we were so busy in our lives, busy doing many other things, that we forgot to listen to our bodies. And the moment we started listening to our bodies, understanding what it is going through, understanding the support it gives us throughout the day to enjoy the different things that we do, that is when we realize that, okay, there is a machine that needs maintenance, and unless we give it regular maintenance, it won't work well. And so how do we use food as our medicine? I think first point, I will take what Avin said, fasting. Rather than giving ourselves food, it is avoiding the food. Some time back, I had written an article. The title was, food is what causes diseases, and food is, the medicine that heals diseases. So you can take food in different ways. Excess makes you fall sick. And when you take it in limitation or avoid it at times, you actually get better. So first thing is to understand what your body needs and accept it. Fasting helps in understanding that our body has to go through elimination, which happens every day. Generally, because we don't eat in the night, the elimination in our body happens. I am, not a doctor, neither a nutritionist, nor learned in any of these fields. So I'm sure there are many other people who know better than me. I am just giving certain points, certain points that I have learned by reading, talking to people, and the experience that we have. So body eliminates a lot of things in the night when we are asleep. That is why generally people say that you need 7 hours of sleep, because during that 7 to 8 hours of sleep cycle, the body goes through different stages of healing and cleaning. So if there is anything wrong in your body, that thing is repaired in the night. And if there is any waste in your body, that is eliminated also in the night when you're asleep. So during this time, if that is also a reason that, they say avoid a heavy meal at night, because if you have a very heavy meal at night, your body is busy digesting and taking care of that meal rather than focusing in on the other, secondary but important activity of cleaning your body. So if you avoid the heavy meal, and if you have, taken good care of your body the previous day, your body is able to heal, eliminate waste, and give you a better, your body in the better condition for the next day. So if you have heard of this thing called intermittent fasting, it actually works well for many people, is because your body doesn't get any food for up to 16 hours, depending on whichever time frame that you choose. So would you speak about intermittent fasting?
Yeah, I think
The 16.
yeah, I mean, so basically, so what happens is when you give a rest gap of 16 hours, so the first 8 hours, right, to take for your body to digest your and the and it's going and you start you know repair for, you can say that actually levels are also very low at the growth hormones and all are also quite very active. This is just what I've read
Yes,
and all that, but this is what we have experienced as well. When you don't eat, keep your body busy with the food, the body does its best in repairing whatever it is going through, be it any kind of infection or any kind of pain or anything. You just give the digestive system a little bit of a rest. The body starts focusing on all other things that is required to bring you back in balance.
So that again, joins the fasting part. So there is fasting, one of our medicine. There is water. As you all know, our body is made out of 70% of, more than 70% of water. So the moment you see that you are denying, or your body is not getting the required amount of water, you see a lot of problems. In my case, I have very clearly seen that when I reduce the water intake, then I get mouth ulcers, I get leg pain or body pains. That is the body requesting for something because it has to do its processes, and us either not listening to it or denying it that opportunity. So there are many different ideas of what is the minimum or the required amount of water a human body needs.
Drink when you're thirsty.
Yeah, we follow the drink when you're thirsty, and these, lately I have I'm following this rule of 1 glass when I wake up, 1 glass before meal, 1 glass before bath, and 1 glass before sleep. These are the 4 that I have to, and in between, whenever I'm thirsty, if through juices, through salads, that is additional water. But apart from this, at least 8 glasses of water is what we try to follow. The kids have been asked only to drink when they're thirsty, though I ask them to at least have their first glass of water as soon as they wake up. Otherwise, we are asking them only to drink when they're thirsty, so that they know what is thirst, and why am I getting thirsty, and how can I make my body function better by reaching my water requirement every day. So there's fasting, there's water, and there is food, obviously. So in food, in the last session that we spoke about, we already said that we try to not preserve more of the food, at least in the fridge. We try to eat as fresh as possible. I don't know, we have not done any research on it, but I feel that our health is also improved because of eating fresh. It's only been, I don't know what, 5 or 6 years since we have been consciously eating fresh. The last 2 years we are eating very fresh food because it's something that grows on our farm mostly. And at times we buy it from the market, but then it comes from the market and directly cooked and eaten. So it's as fresh as possible. I don't know all the transport times and the storage that the community here goes through, but I think it's not much because nothing is processed through freezers or cold storage. So yeah, eating fresh, and also I can't remember. There was one more point I wanted to say. Okay, how about I don't want to get into, if you have this, do this. If you are feeling this, do this. I am not giving medicine here. I am not doing the Ayurvedic Nadi Pariksha or something. So I don't want to give remedies as such. If anyone wants to find out remedies, obviously there are many sources to find out what can be used at home. But if you all feel that you all want to get more information about how to use food or how to avoid food, in what ways can we heal ourselves, you all can write, type in your questions and we can answer those.
And some of the things that we have dealt with, some of the basic things that we have dealt with are like basically fever, any kind of infection like throat infection, ear infection, and also
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea. And in my case, also, I think I was a little bit of a diabetic some time back, which sometimes when I it's something that you have to learn to live with. When you you get experience how to tackle with that disease. When you eat a lot of food which is not good, then your health start deteriorating. The moment you receive the signal that your body is trying to tell something, then you start eating the right kind of food, and your body comes back into proper shape. So yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think these are the only things, the most challenging things that we've been facing these days.
Yeah. Then acidity.
Acidity,
and,
yes.
Yes. This is something that is in the family.
Yeah.
It's in both the families. So we know that we are still finding the triggers, because sometimes you don't know what is a trigger.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
like allergies, it's like anything, something that works well for me, if Avin eats that, he might get acidity, and something that works well for him doesn't go well with me. So you, depending on your body type, certain foods suit you and some don't. So those are something that we are still figuring out and getting to know that, okay, this doesn't work for me but it works for you, and the combination of this with this doesn't work for me but it works for someone else. So if you go by the rule that these foods give you acidity but these don't, I don't follow that rule, because at times it doesn't apply to everyone's body. I have seen that for some people drinking milk reduces acidity, and for some people drinking milk actually gives them acidity. So everything varies. So there is no hard and fast rule that this works, this doesn't. But while answering questions, maybe we'll come across some situations which we have faced and been able to cure ourselves. So let's see. Okay, no questions.
Joanne, I said in my messages, I had told that people can ask the questions live. Maybe they're thinking that they want to ask you rather than type it.
Yeah, either ways. I mean, I thought, okay, yes, we can. People can unmute themselves when they want to ask, and then maybe keep themselves unmuted while they are having the conversation and then mute themselves.
June, I would like to know what is the one thing that you wanted to stop immediately?
Wanted to stop
In the,
immediately.
yeah. You were consuming that, but you wanted to stop that immediately, apart from the processed food.
That is the only one.
In there wasn't any one food that I would say, but when our children were small, I noticed that my son was not okay with milk, or rather, the more he consumed milk, the more he would have mucus developing in his body. So, and the moment we stopped having cow milk, his infections reduced, and he usually had this breathing issues. He used to have a blocked nose. He used to have a lot of frequent colds. So I think when we stopped milk, our son started feeling much better.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is like, we wouldn't say one thing that we want to stop. We have a lot of, tips to, to get around with. If you do, like, for example, if you want to eat something from a bakery, you really want to eat, but it really gives you an acidity. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
my mom can't take anything that has yeast or fermented, like idli, dosa, bread, cakes. Yes, she just can't eat them, because the moment she eats, within few hours she gets very acidic.
Yeah.
She goes to the point where she has immediate cuts on her tongue, and her ears burn, and many such issues. So generally, even the days it's a kid's birthday or something special, she says, okay, I don't want to have cake because I just can't take it.
That was actually some years back.
Yeah, some years back. So
before we introduced it to her, but now I think she is having all those.
Yeah,
things.
now she's in a much better health wise. She's much better, because that was one big issue for her, acidity, and we have noticed that whenever she has the first symptoms, right, acidic symptoms, either the burning of her ears or feeling like her mouth is dry and she's gonna have some cuts or something, she has a glass of lemon juice, and that immediately, I know everyone might, many of you all will be thinking, but lemon is acidic. Yes, lemon is acidic, but when you have lemon juice, you're putting a little acid that is already low in your stomach. Your acid levels are low, and you're adding acidic lemon juice into it, getting your acid levels to normal, and that is why the acidity of your body reduces.
Yes, this is just one example. Also, at least in my family, a lot of people, a lot of us are having this acidity issues. I don't know about how everyone deals with it, but for me, at least from the last 6-7 years, though the acidity keeps coming every now and then, but the solution is very simple. You just squeeze a lemon in water and drink it. It kind of, the acidity goes down immediately. So there is a difference in the way you treat acidity with an acid, and then you treat acidity with something alkaline. So what happens is that when you treat acidity with something that is like acid, which is like a lemon juice, which is in its natural form. So it kind of gives you all the nutrients that is also required to maybe fight the cause of acidity, and also brings the acidity of your stomach back to normal. But if you, instead of that, if you fight acidity with something which is like, maybe Gelusil or something like that, what happens is it kind of, goes into, it kind of aggravates your stomach. It never really solves the problem. It in fact, the acidity comes back the moment the effect of the medicine is gone. So this is one thing. So we have found out lots of ways to handle things that you should not eat. This is just one of them.
Yeah. Also, I think per se we have not eliminated something. I mean, completely eliminated milk. My son can't take it, so we have reduced the number of times that he would consume it. So we don't buy milk as
Yeah.
a regular
Yeah.
supply in our house. But once in a while, unfortunately, my son loves milk. He loves to drink milk, while my daughter doesn't. So for him, at times, when he goes to his grandma's house, he likes to, they usually buy a couple of liters of milk, because they have either they consume at home, or they have farm workers for whom tea is a necessity, so they make tea. So when he goes there, he has a glass of milk, and then if he has any symptoms, we just remind him, okay, you have had a glass of milk today. For the next couple of days, don't have, so that your body can, get better. So at this point, I don't see a need to, restrict it from his diet and cause him to feel, that I was always denied it as a child, so I want to consume more and more of it as an adult, without understanding what actually it's affecting his, body. So it's something we regulate, but not eliminate. Next question, should I just check the chat? I mean, can we check the chat? Anyone else has a question?
Hello. Hello, GM.
Hello.
Yeah, my name is Lakshmi.
Hi, Lakshmi.
Yeah, I have this irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
Since I think 6-7 years.
Okay.
So I avoid, the triggers. I avoid, like if I eat outside food or any food at restaurant or some function, then immediately the next day I have diarrhea.
Okay.
So I try to avoid the triggers, but in spite of that, sometimes I'm not able to find out all the triggers.
Okay.
So when I take immediately, I was on medication some time ago for 3 to 6 months on some medication, allopathic medication. But later on, the course was over. I stopped, but I tried to avoid the foods. But still, it happens sometimes.
Okay.
And I take lactobacillus. Like if I take the Sporlac sachet immediately, then it comes down.
Okay. Okay. So let me answer this question. So I think the problem with this is, generally with the digestion of food, right? So what I would say is, what we do is that I mean, it's not that we have uh, uh, a solution for your problem. So what we would do is, in the morning, right? What we generally drink. If I have some digestive problems or anything like that, in the morning I would get up and drink about a liter of water.
Okay.
And not slowly. I would just drink it fast. For me, maybe for you it may be half liter or maybe little more.
Yeah,
Then,
I have nearly half liter of water as soon as I get up.
yeah.
Not half
Yeah,
liter, at least
for
250 ml bottle I have as soon as I get up.
Yeah, so there is a very thin line of difference in drinking that water quickly and drinking it slowly. So what I have observed is, when you drink it slowly, it kind of gets absorbed within your body. But when you try to drink it fast, right, it kind of gets flushed out. So in the process of flushing out, right, it kind of cleans your digestive tract. Yeah, so generally, with this, if someone is having issues with constipation and anything with the digestive system, right, early in the morning, drink about 750 ml to 1 liter of water. Drink it a little fast, and this is what I have observed, that within and then just walk for like 5-10 minutes, and then you see that whatever has been creating problem, right, this kind of
Mhm.
goes down within 2 or 3 days.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm advised not to have milk. I don't take milk, but curd or buttermilk, I'm not able to, avoid. I have it because in summers, I have this, like you said, the mouth ulcers and all. So sometimes I take little curd or buttermilk. Milk usually I don't have directly.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically, see, we need to identify why you are getting into this kind of problem. So and this modern, I mean, this kind of food that we eat everywhere and all that, right? It's very difficult to even figure out the triggers. So the solution would be, you don't eat anything for some time, and then when you're eating, when you get up in the morning, first time, you just drink a lot of water. It kind of clears off whatever has been, irritating your digestive system. And then also, just what we face is that, we uh, just, you end your meal with some kind of lemon juice or something like that. So generally we've seen that, if something irritates your stomach or anything, right, it kind of balances out by this juice.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
and
say along with the meal,
Usually after your meal.
Yeah.
after the meal, the lemon juice. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Arvind would like to add from another angle as well, not from the food angle,
Yeah.
but one angle that I can add, Lakshmi,
Yeah.
is after food,
Mm.
try this Apana Mudra. Okay.
Okay.
The index finger and the little finger are straight.
Okay.
The
Okay.
middle and the ring finger
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
your thumb, not like this, but
Mm.
like this. Okay.
Yeah.
So this you can do about 30 minutes after you take a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And this generally helps. I won't say that it will clear that whatever thing you have. We need to talk a little bit more, because if the food intake itself is a problem, then this will have very less effect, or maybe not much that you can notice. Then it has to be cleared through food only, that they have already addressed how it works for them. Now, how it works for you is something that you need to contact them to see
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
in detail.
Yeah.
But this one is helping me as well, right? And
Okay.
it
Okay.
help it whatever we have in the digestive tract, right? It will help in the digestion and that whole area. Whatever problem we have, this takes care of it. You can do it in both hands or in one hand, whatever works for you. And about
Okay.
15 to 20 minutes, about 30 minutes after you have food, it'll give you excellent one. If you're not able to do it exactly at that time, do it at any time of the day, right?
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
other thing is, generally people who have gas, I'm not talking, you did not mention about that, but generally I'm saying it is, we all have excess of Vayu. So
Yeah.
this is the finger for Vayu. And to reduce Vayu, we don't want to increase Vayu. You put at the base of the finger of the thumb, and then you press it like this.
Okay.
Okay, like in the beginning, I said this is Gnana Mudra. Okay, this balances your brain, but when you put it here and then you do like this, it becomes Vayu Mudra.
Okay. Okay.
And this can be done immediately after food, has wonderful effects. It stops the formation of gas.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The first mudra which you said, the ring finger, the index finger and the thumb, I usually keep it for my pranayama also, that mudra.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you close your nose like this, isn't it? Right?
No, for all pranayams, I keep this.
Acha, your other hand.
The index finger and the thumb.
Acha, this the Gnana Mudra.
Yeah, I'm with both the hands when I have the breathing or meditation or anything.
Okay, but this Gnana Mudra is not for digestion and it is not for Vayu. This is for calming down your brain.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the king of mudras.
Okay.
All right. What is required for gas formation to stop gas formation is the index. This is called Vaya Mudra. Index at the base of the thumb, not here, not there, not here like this, but at the base of the thumb, just gentle and pressing this like this. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
How long do you do it?
So do it for about 15 minutes minimum. And if you can do it for 20, 25, 30 minutes, even better. Or do it
Okay.
in 2 installments, one after breakfast, one after lunch. It's also good. And if you follow that with Prana Mudra for about 10-15 minutes, it gives even better results. You have to feel it, right? To all the people who are listening to me, just don't do it, because when you do this, you will feel it, right? And Prana Mudra is this.
Okay.
Okay. Because prana is the one which is circulating in your body, so it will equalize all those things. So after you do anything, if you just do about 10 minutes of prana mudra, it helps a lot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
question.
Gangadhar.
Yeah, it's all I am learning from you guys. I hope I am also
And we are learning
contributing.
from you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question which says, how do you prevent from going to the dentist? Okay, we follow a few things. Obviously, after eating, gargle well, brush. Those are things.
She follows. I don't.
Yeah,
I
he
have
is
a-
blessed with a very good set of teeth, which nothing has happened to them and nothing is happening yet. So he doesn't have to follow anything. That is what he says. But yeah, other than the regular dental care of brushing and gargling well and all that, one thing that has really worked for me with the multiple dental issues that I had was oil pulling. So I got introduced to this, I think maybe 5 years back, and now I make my own oil pulling blend. I use sesame oil, till oil or yellow oil, what we call it, and I mix a little, like, okay, let me give you measurements, or maybe I should just write down a recipe. If it's 3/4 of sesame oil, then 1/4 of coconut oil, and I add to it a few drops of peppermint and clove oil. Mix well. I leave it in a glass bottle. Whenever I feel the need for it, if I have a tooth pain, which is very rare. Otherwise, every alternate day. Now I have come to alternate days. Initially, I used to do 3 days a week continuously. I would do the oil pulling by swishing the oil in my mouth for about 15 minutes and then throwing it out and gargling with regular water. And this, it has helped me. It has helped my son, who also has dental issues, and it has also helped my mother. And in the last few years, we have not seen the need to go to the dentist.
And another thing that we also tried was, say you have an infection which is which is
Severe,
and it's causing a lot of pain and all that. What we do is we take half a teaspoon of baking soda and we mix it in water, and then we gargle our mouth. Usually before you go to bed, every day for like 2 or 3 days. Within the first day only, you notice that the pain kind of goes immediately. And then in the morning when you get up, also you just do the same thing. Just take a half a teaspoon of. We make actually a small bottle. We mix like 1 tablespoon of baking soda in it, and we keep it handy. So in the night, just put it in the mouth, gargle, and throw it. In the morning again, gargle, throw it. Afternoon, whatever. Do it 2-3 times, and then the infection kind of generally goes off immediately. So this is also something that we have tried, and it works. But we should ensure that it is baking soda and not baking powder. These two are two different things. One works like a medicine, and another one is not.
Yeah, baking soda is one ingredient that is in our kitchen. for multiple uses. It is used as a medicine. It is used in cooking. It is used for cleaning. It is used for healing in terms of, we soak our feet in baking soda water when we have exhaustion, when we have infection building up. Generally, the toxins are usually released from your feet. So if you soak your feet in baking soda water for about 15 to 20 minutes, warm water if possible, otherwise normal temperature water.
And also insect bite. Here we generally get stung by
bees,
wasps and all that. So what we do is immediately we remove the sting, and then we mix half a teaspoon of this baking soda water, and then we keep applying that water. It works like a magic. The swelling goes down very fast, and also the pain goes. It never increases. So that's something that will also help.
Yeah, just 3 days back, my daughter was playing out, and honeybee went into her shirt from behind and bit her at the back. So the moment she felt the sting, she came and told us, and I mixed just a pinch of baking soda with 2 drops of water and applied it, and nothing. She didn't have any effect. Whereas some years back, when I was bit with the honeybee, I had a swelling for 3 days. And I didn't know what to do for it more. Some said apply honey, some said apply some leaf, and the pain was there, and the swelling was there. But I saw actually magic happening when I applied baking soda to the sting space. You can see the red dot. You apply the baking soda with water to the spot, and then 5 minutes and you're done. Someone has asked for the recipe of the oil pulling blend again. I will do a post on it, but I will just say it once more if you want. It's whatever measure you're taking: 3/4 of sesame oil, 1/4 of coconut oil, and a few drops of clove oil and peppermint oil. So anyone has any more questions?
Joanne, there is one question.
Yeah.
Someone who is watching on YouTube has messaged me on WhatsApp. That is one question. And
Okay.
there is one question on the YouTube itself. Somebody has put it as a comment. So we will give first preference to people who are attending live. And then I would say by around 9:20, now it's not 7:01, about 7:15 is when I will give those 2 questions to you. Is it okay?
Sure, yeah. So there is one more question here. My father-in-law has been having loose stools last few days. I have been following natural remedies. The improvement has not been visible. Okay, if this is only related, if there are no other symptoms and this is only related to the gut, that means the food that is going into his stomach, because of the whatever stomach infection that he's having, the loose motions are still happening. Then one remedy that has worked for us even in our last 80-day travel, despite eating food from all over the world, was pomegranate peels. So you take a few pomegranate peels. If you don't have the dried ones, then fresh ones, boil them in a cup of water, or a little more than a cup of water. Reduce until it comes down. I mean, boil it until it reduces down to half, whatever quantity you put. Add a pinch of salt to the strained water, and let the person have it, sip it warm, and generally within a few hours you should be completely better. I mean, that sort of settles your stomach. But this will only work if this is because of an infection. If it is because of any other reason, I wouldn't be able to help you. I will, we need to have more information.
Yeah, and most of these tips and tricks work, if your body is very free from allopathic medicines. Otherwise, it kind of, it's very difficult in the initial phases. But once you stay away from these allopathic medicines, these home medicines work like very fast, and especially they are very easily available right at your at most at your grocery shop, all these things, and very cheap as well. So yeah, but yeah, what I have also seen is that it takes time for and courage for people to start using these kind of tips and tricks, but it may not work for people who are on
Medication, yeah.
medications. If somebody is getting these, we don't know why he's getting these. It could be that some kind of food that he's eating is not agreeing with his body. That is one thing. Another thing that I have seen is that something that I have tried. If your food has got this Epsom salt in it, some kind of Epsom salt in high forms. The Epsom salt is a very natural muscle relaxant thing. So if you consume it, it kind of gives you loose motion. So Epsom salt is actually used for in a way that I don't want to talk about it, but so we don't know what is the reason behind it, but the general thing what you can try it is what Juan said. You can use this peels and boil it and then drink it, and a couple of times it should definitely remove any kind of problems in the gut.
He's on medication for depression.
Okay, so it could be a side effect of that.
Suchi, can you get in touch with us after the call on WhatsApp? I will share our numbers on the in case you don't have our numbers, I'll share it on the chat, and you can get in touch with us later. I'll go to the next question. My husband and I have opposite food choices, so how to inculcate good habits in kids? Anything particular item good for growing age? And am I giving Ayurvedic medicine for eye power? Okay, 4.6, almost 5-year-old having eye power.
Usually, you mean
this is genetics. This is not because of the screen. It is because of I used to have a high power.
No, high power, is it in the positive side or in the negative side?
This is the negative side.
Okay, so that's good actually. High power in the negative side.
It is a cylindrical number.
No, sorry.
But it is a cylindrical number.
Okay, no, so I don't know. So generally, if it is a negative number, right, it's very much treatable at a very young age as well. So what I have seen or experienced, or rather, if we are doing this, she has a -7 power, and
I started with -5, but over the years, so -5 was when I was 12 years old, and when I got married, I had a -7.5 power. But now, after actively using this, this formula, I would say, I am now on -6. So I have actually, without taking any medication, reduced my eye power by 1.5.
Yeah. So I mean, the idea is that when you wear spectacles, it's more like walking on crutches, right? So when you're walking on crutches, your legs become weak, and you keep walking on crutches all the time. At one point, you will notice that you will find it very difficult to walk on your feet. So the idea is that you get off the crutches as much as possible.
No, he is not wearing glasses. I have not after being in consult with Ayurvedic doctor, he has also said the same. Make sure he doesn't wear glasses, and I am following the same.
Okay.
Okay, so in that case, then you don't have to worry about that part.
Yeah, it will take some time, but there is one. There's one not exercise. There's one term I'm not able to remember. Basically, what is that? Gates. One kind of exercise which I used to do in ozone.
We can share it in the group.
Yeah, I'll probably share it at a later time. There is one person who it's basically a eye relaxation exercise. It's not an exercise. It's more like relaxing the eye. when you relax the eye, right, that's when it can contract and relax very easily. So it
Avin?
helps.
Avin, is it that yogic eye exercise called Trataka?
No, it's not it's not that.
It's not an exercise as such. It's more rather a set of steps that you
Bates,
sort of
Bates
yeah,
Bates method of
eye
eye
relaxation.
relaxation. So generally, when you do that, right, even for adults, when you do that exercise on a long term, you'll notice that your muscles, right, in your eye are able to relax and contract and relax easily. So that will help. And this very young age, I think he should be able to get off specs very soon.
Yeah. And as far as in nutrition, I don't have any tip to give good nutrition. I mean, there is no one item that you can say that this is good for you. Anything that is fresh, anything that is not processed, things that are generally considered healthy. And by that I don't mean vitamin boosters or all those things. Fresh fruits, vegetables, all those
something that
just
is something that is high in sugar and all, right? If we do not have it in the mornings, it would generally help all these kind of not just the eyes or anything, any kind of recovery,
anything in your body,
any kind of recovery is very quick when you don't ingest something that increases your blood sugar immediately or very high. If your blood sugar doesn't increase at all for as much as possible, as much as you can control, these kind of repairs happen very fast. But for him, it's it's more, I think, just exercise that would help.
Thank you.
So we have any remedy for yellow stained teeth? And we have an answer also that activated charcoal powder. Yes, I agree with that. Generally, even baking soda, but also depends on what kind of foods and what lifestyle you have, because despite doing the activated charcoal powder scrub or a baking soda scrub on your teeth, and you still have the habit of say drinking coffee or aerated drinks and all that, there is a regular buildup happening on your teeth. So it's like you're adding this and then you're putting this. It wouldn't reduce anything unless you stop the habit and then treat it. You'll not actually see an improvement.
Yeah, I think also the thing that we already discussed, the oil pulling and all.
Yeah, they also help.
Would definitely help in removing the yellowing and all. And this is something that you probably need to bring it into a habit for some time. And the moment you see that the yellowness goes down, you can stop it. It started when you see it happening again.
Okay. Okay. How did you resolve eye power? Please repeat. Again, I will write about it and share it in the group. And in case it has not answered your specific question, you can reach out to us.
I mean, the idea is, when in one sentence, start with the lesser power. Keep using a lesser power spectacles.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we didn't say that. So what I did was I had a -7.5 spectacles, and no, I rather actually I'm wearing contact lens. So I used to wear a -7.5 lens, and I bought a box of lens which was 1 degree lesser.
0.5.
Yeah. So I got -7 power lens, and I started wearing it for some time. Initial, maybe not even a day, I would feel like slightly it is blurred, but within, I don't know, a couple of days, my eyes got adjusted to it, and I could read whatever I could read with -7.5 easily. I wore that for 3 to 4 months, and then I moved to the next power. But that after coming down to 6.5, I used 6.5 for about 6 months before I got down to 6. So it takes a time. It takes a little time. It's not, you wear it for 1 month and then you go to the next power and then you wear it again for a month and go to the next power. It actually takes time. And with contact lens, actually it helps because you have to use one. I wear monthly lens, so you need to wear it for at least the whole box. That means 3 months, and within 3 months you know where you are. So I do the testing myself. If I can read the book at this distance and if I can read a board at that distance. So if I can do it, it's good. Otherwise, I also go for a regular eye checkup where I get to know, though I don't agree with all their statements saying that you need this power spectacles or this lens. I just go get my eye tested, get the power prescribed by them, come back to know where I am on my scale.
Yeah, and what I do is, with the prescription that the doctor generally gives, I generally go with one, or I buy 2-3 glasses. So usually, the power that the doctor has recommended, because that's what I need when I'm reading some book or something like that. And then I get 1 or 2 powers down, 2 glasses, and then most of the time I wear the least power that I want. And most of the day, throughout the day, it's fine for me. And when it gets a little difficult, then I switch to a higher power. I mean, you cannot expect a small child to do it.
No, he's not using this.
Yeah.
In general, this is in general, not for children or something. Yeah, so we don't have any questions anymore.
So shall I read out the 2 questions from YouTube?
Yes.
All right. So the first question, let me read out verbatim so that I don't change. How you guys handle skin problems, especially psoriasis? That's the question.
We haven't contacted it, so we don't know. I mean, we don't know how to handle it. But I think, again, it relies on your food habits. Yeah. So maybe I can, figure it out and tell you certain things to do or not, but I don't know, at the top of my mind, because this is not something that I've dealt with.
Yeah, we haven't.
But generally, if it's a rash, topical, it's on your skin and it's not something from a reaction from within, then these rashes or these any skin ringworm and such infections on the skin, generally using turmeric, coconut oil, garlic paste, these are all antibacterial, very high in antibacterial content, so these help. Honey, ginger juice, these are these, though these all are good in antibacterial, these are not all applicable on this on everything.
Yeah, and some of them are really strong. So I wouldn't suggest blindly use it, because especially this ginger and garlic and all that, they are quite strong.
Yeah.
Very strong in antibacterial properties.
Yes.
So it may do more harm.
Yeah,
so
I would say they also sometimes burn on your skin. Yeah. So it's not just apply anything on your skin, but
aloe vera.
Yeah.
So aloe vera is something what we we have in our garden. So if we can't think of anything, we just take the aloe vera and just apply it. So I don't really know how psoriasis are caused. I mean, how it happens. We haven't dealt it, so I cannot really give a suggestion based on my experience.
Yeah, so that's very nice of you guys to openly say, and that's what I like about you, is you tell from your life experience, and until you know it firsthand, you don't suggest unnecessarily to others. It is so authentic. I just really love it. I just again like to add one mudra angle to this. Prasanna and Nitya are the ones who I think have asked this question.
Okay.
So first let me show you. This is Varuna Mudra. Okay, this is Varuna Mudra. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody can see this, isn't it? This is wrong. You won't get benefits if you do like this. It has to be the tips. Just slightly touching is enough, right? Now, this is for all kinds of skin diseases. And I am quoting from this book. Okay, so can you see Varuna Mudra here? And it is clearly written that psoriasis is a part of it. And tomorrow, I'm also taking this occasion to tell you tomorrow, 5 p.m., he is our Mudra Guru. He's 95 years old, stays in Mysore. He's written this book and he also rides a scooty at this age in Mysore at 95, right? And he's a practitioner of this. You know, he did not read another book and find out. You know, he at age of 80, he figured out all these mudras and then he found out what is giving him relief, what is not giving him relief. And from after 15 years or about 12, 13 years, he's written this book. So he will be available to talk to all of us tomorrow. He is an inspiration. You know, you just listen to his videos or just be in the presence, your energy will go up, you know, and he can talk. I have a recording. He has talked continuously for 2.5 hours at 95 years. He was 94 at that time, right? So I would encourage all of you also to take advantage of that, and he can give you. And we have actually, what we do is we talk to him, and somebody who had psoriasis, their situation has come down. But today the topic is about food, right? So I would like to re-emphasize that if the food intake is bad, all right, if it is going in the wrong direction, and if we keep doing Varuna Mudra, okay, it's only going to have that much effect, isn't it? The basics have to be right first, right? And to close this discussion, my own mother, who is 76 years old, she had rashes on this whole thing. She declined to join tomorrow, but it would have been nice. But she did this Varuna Mudra, and in 6 months, okay, without any medication, it has just become very light gray color dots on her thing. And I think another 4-5 months, it will completely go, right? So there is hope. And one more question is there. It's 7:21 now. Let me just read that out. Where did I get that question? Hold on. Was it?
YouTube.
I think here on YouTube. No, there is one more.
You mentioned WhatsApp, Gangu.
Yes, WhatsApp. So this person told me on WhatsApp and here. Let me see. Okay, I'm not sure about what they asked. Let's go ahead. If I find the question, we can take one last question, I think.
Okay, there are a couple of questions about our unschooling journey and the house, the mud house. So I think we'll keep it for the next session.
All right. Yeah, sure, definitely. And what is the when they want to talk to you one-on-one, the way we have looked at is that whoever is in the WhatsApp group gets access to you, right?
Yes.
Right. So when and the way I am adding more people to that group is when they join a Zoom session. During that session, I've asked them to ping me, and then when I see that they are really interested and taking interest in these things, then it is meaningful to add them to the group as well. Are you okay with that kind of, you know, gradually adding more people to the group? Or is it okay that somebody asks for your number or your email ID or your Instagram ID and then start talking to you directly?
Yeah, adding them if they're very interested to the group is okay. Otherwise, I would also be okay for them to follow me on Instagram. I wouldn't be okay giving out the numbers to everyone, but on Instagram, I can do the Instagram chat. Maybe if Instagram is not banned in India soon.
Yeah. So quickly, let me put your Instagram ID out on the group. So that will help people to follow you. You can go ahead with your talk, please. If you have anything, we will close by around, I have announcements to make for about 5 minutes. So another 2 minutes, if there is anything you want to address and how you can be approached and all that, because if that becomes more clear, it'll be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one thing to add. I was hoping somebody would ask this question, but you know, this is something which I dealt with when I had moved to Bangalore some time back, is a recurrent, ear infection. Every year, sometime, when the winter was going to start or something like that, I would get this ear infection every year in Bangalore. And this infection would, start in 1 year slowly, and the pain is very bad, and then it would go to another year, and then, sometimes, it goes again back to this year, and it's kind of, lasts for at least like good 7 to 8 days, and the pain was really bad. And I initially started, by taking these painkillers, like it was not painkillers. I used to take these, fever medicine. I don't know what was it, paracetamol or something like that. I used to take it, but it never helped me with that. But a couple of years back, what I found out was that, just a piece of garlic, slightly
A clove of garlic.
clove of garlic, slightly crushed with its skin on, and then you take coconut oil, not the one that you get the parachute, the one that you get from the mill. I don't trust the parachute from.
Yeah,
I don't.
by
So-
mill he says cold pressed
Cold
coconut oil.
pressed coconut oil. I just take a little bit of that, and then on a low flame, just heat it until the skin of it, this garlic turns brown. Okay, and then you turn it off, and then when the oil is warm to touch, not hot to touch, when it's nice and warm to touch, just put a drop of this. And what I observed was that, the infection, the relief came immediately, and I had to put maybe once more
clear off the infection.
for the pain to go immediately. That's when I started loving this home based medicine so much, because something that that used to irritate me so much for like almost 8 to 10 days has gone in, like, in about at max like 15 minutes to 1 hour. So I was hoping somebody would ask this, but since no one asked, I would want to share this, because this is something which, very, I suffered this for a couple of years in Bangalore.
Yeah, and Ethan also had it when we were traveling once. Ethan had this very severe infection. We were on the train, and we couldn't do anything at that moment. So he was in pain, crying for more than 3-4 hours. But the moment we reached our relative's place in Mumbai, we took the garlic, we heated the oil, we put it, and didn't matter that we were in an unknown place, didn't matter that we didn't have a doctor's appointment or anything. 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, our son was fine.
Actually, that time we didn't even have proper coconut oil. We used the
Yeah.
parachute oil.
Yeah,
That also worked.
yeah.
So,
But preferably cold pressed coconut oil.
yeah. Another,
So,
you
yeah.
have something to
No,
add?
no, you can.
So another point I wanted to add was our first aid kit when we travel.
Yeah, I was just going to say
You
that.
can say that. Okay, our first
So-
aid kit when we travel is usually, a bag of dehydrated pomegranate peels.
Yeah, sun-dried pomegranate peels. This
Yes.
is what we always we store at home. Also, we take it along when we travel, because at times you are in a place where you might not get pomegranates. Otherwise, pomegranates are generally available everywhere. So that is one. Turmeric powder. We use the turmeric that we grow. We powder it and we take it along. There is baking soda.
Yes.
There is a little pepper, salt. This is also used for cooking. So anyways, pepper and salt. There is coconut oil, and
Yeah, the rest, everything we get it
Yeah,
on the way. like-
and I have a small box of turmeric salt that I make. So this is in case you have a wound. So I just boil fresh turmeric with some beeswax and some kokum butter or something, and strain it, leave it to cool, collect it in a container and take it along. We use it at home also. We don't use ointments and all those things at home for wounds, infections and all that. This is everything medicine to personal care products, from deodorant to soaps. We try to make our own and use what we made, giving us a surety that there is nothing added to it. It is not adulterated. It is as pure as possible. But in times when we can't make, or the things that we don't know how to make, we try to source it from people who are authentic and make it, not for business, but for the sake of making authentic products. Anything else in our travel kit? No. Yeah, that's it. And it takes care of any, I mean, we traveled for 80 days recently, and we didn't have to,
we didn't buy 1 liter of water bottle.
yeah, we didn't even buy one plastic bottle. We filled water everywhere, wherever possible. At times not RO, at times just by the tap, because we wanted drinking water. We have fallen ill couple of times, but that didn't, spoil our travel plans. We could cure ourselves pretty well and move on with our travel.
And also another thing that we observed was, when you're on the move, our immunity levels were naturally very high.
Yeah, for that, my children are not, our children are not here, but otherwise they had a very interesting story where we were in Gujarat, almost the end of our trip in Gujarat. We were in a place for 5 days. We ate home cooked meal, and all of us, turn by turn, we had diarrhea, we had fever, and we were not sure what was happening. And end of those 5 days, we just got tired of being sick, and we said, okay, this is an unknown place. Maybe the water here is not good, or maybe the food is not suiting us or something. Let's go. Let's continue our journey. And we left that place in the morning. We reached to a lunch place in afternoon. Should I? And we ate food from, one of the roadside hotels. And the people who were sick and lying, with their head down on the seat, they all had a nice meal, and they're like, "Mommy, we are feeling good. I think we should have just traveled. Sitting in one place makes us ill." That was the reaction we got from our kids.
Yeah.
So
this is something which you can try if you don't have any medicine, at your disposal. Just travel around.
Just travel, yeah. I think that
brings your immunity very high.
Yeah, I think that cures your mind rather than your body, because it's the mind that creates the first disease.
All right. So
yeah, we have nothing else to share.
Okay.
I don't see any more questions. Oh no, there are many questions now.
No, it's
Or
okay.
is it
We'll ask
chat?
them to contact you in the group.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So because it's 7:30 now. I think at least by 7:35, let's wind it down. So
Sure.
thank you, Joanne and Avin. This is the second weekend that you have given us so much practical knowledge and knowledge that has been tested with your family, that has worked for you. The message is loud and wonderful that you have shared what is work for you, and people who want to use it have to first understand their body and then try it. And if they are in doubt, they always have got the Instagram ID. I've put it in the chat. They can always get in touch with you. Those who are in the WhatsApp group can message you. And our groups may not be open all the time, but you are giving special access to the people who are showing interest and who are showing meaningful approach. Thanks for that. Okay. And all the people that I have called on these sessions from last 13 months have been practitioners. That is the common thing. And we have so much of focus on taking action that some people really get bugged with us. Why is this person so what is that down on taking actions? I understand everybody has their own situations, but we will allow more and more sharings to happen in our group from people who are taking actions, because it's infectious, right? It helps others also. So thank you very much for being there. So I have to thank a couple of more people. One is Hemangi from our group 2. When I put out the time as 8 p.m., she's the one who said that we have to rest our eyes, not see screen, and sleep before time, which is such a wonderful thing. And I passed that message to Joanne. It was not that she was not ready to do early. It's good for her and Win also to sleep early. So immediately she agreed, and then we changed the time to 6 p.m. So I have to specially thank Hemangi for doing that. I don't know if she's here or not. Are you here, Hemangi? I don't see her name here. There's one H.
Okay, maybe that. Yeah.
Maybe. All right.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank you very
changing
much.
this.
We are so happy to have meaningful people who go back to the basics of life and remind us also. All right.
Yes,
I would have asked last time, but I was not sure whether people were okay with it. So since it's for people, I was like, okay, if they are okay with a later session, then I'll have it later. But it's really good for us to have it earlier. Last session was actually too late. It was way past our kids' bedtime. They missed us. You know, they usually have a routine of going to bed with us. So I didn't like breaking that pattern. So today they know that we'll be there. So thank you for this. Thank you for getting it early.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to both of you and everyone being here. Also, sleep, I think, is a big part of health, which I think we need to again remind all of ourselves. It's very important to sleep early. Like you mentioned, that a lot of healing takes place, and the amount of time before 12 that you can get, that is the biggest part of healing. Before 12, sleep. After 12 is not sleep. So children need to sleep by 7, adults by 8:30. I myself sleep at 8:30, and morning it's like 3:34, you know, it's enough. And you can get up very well then.
That's very commendable because not everyone can do it. But we actually have another friend who follows the circadian rhythm, you know, follow the sun, the natural light.
Yes.
Control your body, yes.
Yes. I also want to observe that, you know, when we were in the city, we used to sleep very late. But the moment we come back to our farm, right?
Yeah, see, this is the light that we have at home, not the bright white lights, the warm lights. So we try to avoid its usage. That's why we have a solar, you know, powered house, so that we don't misuse power. But still, we are not come to that level where we can sleep by 8:30.
Yeah, and get up at 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we get up at least by 6 o'clock now.
Yeah.
6:30.
Yeah. Light is also a thing that we have to. Electricity is also a big part of our health, and how we can reduce electricity is also goes along.
Yeah, it's for personal as well as environmental reasons. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't switch on any tube lights or anything. Just maybe one lamp.
Oh wow.
And, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Excellent. Hemangi, so thanks for sharing your views, and to you and to the rest of the audience here, let me tell you that when people have figured out the fundamentals of life, like how Hemangi just now spoke about it, isn't it? So very soon they will be speakers on this because they are practitioners, right? So we would really encourage, and very soon you will have admins, a person like you, after I know you better, and you know, the way you are talking about it, it really is nice, right? So people like this also become admins on our group, because then they gain that respect of the rest of them, because they're practitioners, right? And then people listen to them, right? And the forwards are also okay, but we have this thing that, you know, like, if it is, take the forward, it's okay, but you tell how it worked for you in your life. If you relate to that forward in such a way, then it's okay, right? Because then we know what to talk to you. Otherwise, a forward is just a forward. All right. So that's a thing. And when a person is able to talk about certain topics, which is true for all people, which is true in every place, and which is true at all times on this earth, which is the Vedas, then that person is at a different level for us. Because when I talk, when Joanne and Naveen talk, we talk about our personal experiences, but we are not so far ahead in life. I don't know about you guys, but at least me, when I talk about unschooling, I have done road schooling for 10 years, right? I know about travel, but still I am a little bit cautious about what I say to people. Like you, I also tell that, boss, this is what I have done. Okay, but when you have to do, you have to add that salt and pepper or delete and do it, right? Because we are not sure what is that absolute truth from the Vedas or whatever it is. It's not religious, okay, or from any other thing that is so true, right? And for that, we have one Mr. Sharma ji, okay, and it's on that session what we call it as Jivana Sikshana, okay, and for the people who are in Hindi here, Jivan Shikshan you can call it as, right? It is life education. That's what we are all trying to do at the end of the day, right? And when it is based on such principles that it is true for everyone, and it is true at all times, and it is true at all places, and it has been tested for thousands of years, then it is easy for us to rely on them. And then we do jugad and we do modify it and then bring it down, dilute it or concentrate it for our lifestyle. So that is what you get on Sunday 5 p.m. So it's a fixed time and we call it as a Jivana Sikshana 1. And this Sunday, we are going to have a topic. It's a little slightly controversial topic, but it's okay because it's coming from him in a neutral way. And this is about what happens, what should be some of the things that you can do to reduce the probability. Let me focus, reduce the probability, not avoid. There's no guarantee. How to reduce the probability of birthing a kid with physical or mental anomalies. And there are 3 sanskars as per those Vedas. And Mr. Sharma also is trained and he is an expert in conducting these things, and he does it free of cost. Okay, and it can be done online also. I didn't know that these have effect online, that you can have a Zoom meeting and do a one-on-one with him. So, and I know him from 13 months and he's been doing wonders to us and other families. He just gives you that confidence. Somebody asked about unschooling. He just gives you so much of confidence through experience and through the literature and through the Vedas that you just bowled over. You get the guts to take the leap of faith. That is about Sunday. And now about tomorrow, we are going to talk about mudras. Okay, the author of this I've already spoken a little bit, so I will not go in detail. And he's a person who is going to talk, Professor Iyer, right? The time is 5 p.m. and he has about 100 of these books. Last time when we conducted this, we distributed about 80 books, cost about 180 rupees. And he says this science of mudras it's a secret science as per Vedic literature, and he's not made it available on Amazon. Okay, you just cannot buy it online. You'll have to buy from him only. But the reason behind that is, he says very few people believe that a simple thing like this can cure. Okay, and I'm not telling less or no. Because I've seen it happen with my mother, right? So cure a simple thing like this that she has been suffering for so many years, right? And they don't believe, so they don't get the results. Even if they do like this and don't believe mentally that it can give results, they don't get results, right? And then the bad name is for the mudras. So to avoid this, he's not made it available online. So you will get a chance to get an autographed book. That is my personal request to him, that he autographs. And 95 years, he has no problem in autographing 100 books, 200 books also. The second version of the book has come out, and we also have about 4 or 5 copies with us. We refer it, and my mother refers it, and all that. So tomorrow, try to attend that. Otherwise, I'll have a recording. But we always urge people to join live. The energy is totally different, and you also get a one-to-one kind of connection with the person who is talking, isn't it? After that, it becomes so easy for us to either talk to them or ask a question, because that relatedness is there. And we have to do this in a humane approach, not just have a recording. I know many people have informed me also from the group that I won't be able to do because of this and this. You don't have to tell me why you are not able to do, because you have reasons. It's okay. We will always share the recordings, but the recordings will be shared when you request us. It will not be put blindly in the group. Okay, we are moving away from that. We will just not put it in the group, because we don't know who is getting benefited. We are not getting benefited by any feedback from that as well. So we won't be able to improve. So we have done away with that. Who asks for those recordings, we will give them free of cost, right? It's on humanitarian basis. So with this, thank you very much. Many of you have been here for 1 hour 45 minutes. 43 minutes to be very sure. You joined, some of you joined 10 minutes earlier also. I joined only 2 minutes or 3 minutes earlier to 6 p.m. I'm sorry about that. I should have joined at 5:50. Next time I will try to be on time. All right. So with this, I'll be here available for the next 2 minutes, next 1 minute. Anybody has a question, they can ask me. After that, I will stop the recording as well as this meeting. Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.
Thank you, Gangadhar.
Sorry.
I would like to thank Juin and Naveen. Your ear remedy is surely going to help me. I missed out some way to ask this question, but I had this question in my mind before the sitting for the session. Thank you. It's going to help a lot to me, and I'll surely get in touch if I need more help. I'll message you or Ganguji. And we can have some discussion. I do have some queries, but yes, I'll get back to you personally one-on-one.
Yeah.
Thank
Sheetal.
you very much.
Yeah,
Yes,
Sheetal.
Gangu.
Okay, thank you, Gangu.
Yeah, thank you very much. So thanks a lot. So that is my father-in-law
I
attending
enjoyed.
from Mysore.
Oh,
Wow.
And he's the one
Hello.
who introduced mudras to us through Mr. Iyer.
Okay.
So he'll also be speaking tomorrow. Thanks a lot for attending this. And he's been doing yoga for more than 2 decades now, right? And I don't know, he's about 75, and he treks like anything. He travels like anything.
You need it.
All right. So thanks for coming all the way for this.
Okay. We meet tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow 5 p.m.
Gangu, you were saying.
Yes, Sheetal. So Sheetal, that G is only for Mr. Sharma G. Okay, for me,
Yes.
over Gangadhar. I have to earn it still. Okay?
Yeah,
Somehow-
but it's somehow a habit to call everyone by like that name only. Bear with me. I will try, but bear with me. I can
Yeah.
say that
See,
much.
See, in certain topics, I might be ahead of you in 5 steps. Certain topics, I will be behind you in 5 steps. That's all. Okay, we are all in the same journeys only. We have taken some decisions. You will take some other decisions. It's okay. We have that G, really, we have to earn it. And please do not call me sir or G. I am also one among you. Okay. So, of
Yes.
course, yeah, when people call me sir, I know, because I am like a strict principal in that WhatsApp group. Ye tune kyun becha? Ye tune kyun? So I get to that level. तो वो sir मैं समझ सकता हूँ. G तो बिल्कुल नहीं. Thank you very much.
I'll try. Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
thank you for the wonderful sessions. Last week I was not able to attend, but I went through the recordings and it really helped me. Thank you.
You. Yeah, for everyone, I think I have seen that Gangadhar has shared our Instagram link on the group, on the chat, and those who want to be added to the group can reach out to either Gangadhar or me, and we can do that. And if you any one of you have any questions that you all want to ask us personally, you all can reach out to us personally through our Instagram messaging or WhatsApp messaging.
Yes, thanks for that, Joanne. It's very clear, and now people know how to reach you. All right.
Yes.
So thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you everybody. Say our good nights for now. Thanks for attending the session. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.
Good night.